Good morning. On behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, we welcome you to this special edition of Let It Be Known. All this week, Stacy Brown, our national correspondent for the NNPA, is on a well-deserved vacation. And so what we're going to do is rebroadcast some of those special shows that have had a tremendous impact for the Black press, for Black America, and for the world at large. Thank you so much for listening.
Good morning on this Monday, May the 3rd, 2021. Welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known, the Black Press of America and the National Newspaper Publishers Association's morning breaking news show. And this morning, we plan to have a really good one for you. In the words of these two legends, you don't have to be a star to be in our show. We're going to have Marilyn, McCoo, and Billy Davis Jr. join us this morning as we're working out some technical issues, but we are confident they'll be able to join us. But first, of course, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to have our boss on, the president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Dr. Ben Chavis. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacy. On behalf of the Black Press of America, celebrating our 194th year, we welcome all of our viewers, all of our listeners, all of our readers of the Black press, both in print, digital, and social media, not only in America, but throughout the world. This is another day that the Lord has made.
Well, and the headlines this morning, Dr. Chavis, President Joe Biden is establishing the White House Task Force on Worker Organization and Empowerment with a mission to mobilize the federal government's policies, programs, and practices to empower workers to organize and successfully bargain with their employers. Headed by Vice President Kamala Harris, the mission includes looking for ways to increase worker power in areas of the country with restrictive labor laws for marginalized workers, including women and people of color. The task force will engage with a diverse set of leaders in the labor movement, academia, advocacy groups, and beyond to seek ideas for potential federal action and feedback on initiatives under consideration. So the Biden-Harris administration continues their mission, Dr. Chavis, for an all-inclusive America.
Absolutely. First 100 days plus now. The Biden-Harris administration continues to not only advocate for change, but they facilitate change. Inclusion, diversity and inclusion. Equity is at the center of their public policies, and that is enormous benefit to African Americans and Latinx Americans and other persons of color who strive to get not just into the mainstream, who strive to engage in wealth building. We get ourselves out of poverty to the extent to which we build our economic opportunities, take advantage of the economic opportunities for not only ourselves as individuals, but for families and communities. So I think even amidst the continuation of COVID-19, Stacy, the economic development, economic opportunities, the equity considerations under the Biden-Harris administration look very promising. And on behalf of Karen Carla Richards, our distinguished chair of the NNPA, it's just great to hear this news.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say good morning to Celeste Hart, and of course, Bobby Henry, Lynn Spivey, Joni King, Michelle Madison, and our executive administrator, Claudette Perry. Dr. Chavis, Lisa Moloch, a community leader based in West Baltimore, decided it was time to stop dwelling on the traumatic experiences that have negatively impacted numerous families in Baltimore. And it was time to begin to heal and recover. As part of the healing process, Let's Thrive Baltimore, an organization geared toward helping families who have been impacted by gun violence, began the Memory Creation Program, which is a student-led initiative that facilitates various healing workshops and activities. Last month, members from the Let's Thrive Baltimore gathered with local community leaders, agencies, and volunteers to build what was called a memory creation garden to honor families who have lost loved ones to gun violence, and a ceremony laying of personalized stepping stones. One of the primary focuses of the memory garden was to provide a place of comfort for grieving families negatively affected by gun violence. You can read a whole lot more about this at blackpressusa.com and the Baltimore Times and the Annapolis Times. It's a great program that they're doing over there in Baltimore, helping others to heal from the trauma and the devastation of gun violence.
Absolutely. We give a shout out to both of our newspapers in Baltimore, the Baltimore Times, and then in the capital city, Annapolis Times, but also the Baltimore Afro. We're so pleased that the Black press is on the case. And of course, gun violence is just not in Baltimore, it's all over the United States. And all of our publishers across the country are raising this issue. But thank you for breaking that news, Stacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And shortly we will be joined by our guests. We are still working out some connection issues, but we'll get there. But in the meantime, Dr.
I think they're ready.
Well, see, when the boss speaks, there you go. It's been an absolute pleasure to have on everybody that we have on, Dr. Chavis. Every morning we're trying to present Black America with different perspectives. We're trying to present Black America with some breaking news and also movers and shakers. Well, this morning, Dr. Chavis, we have legends. And it's an absolute privilege to welcome to the Black Press's Let It Be Known, Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Just want
to.
We're on the air, and we're so pleased to have you. And on behalf of the Black Press of America, I just want to salute you and celebrate your longevity. You've made so much history, so much impact, positive, getting people to uplift themselves, sometimes facing very difficult circumstances. And as one who's been involved in the civil rights movement for over 50, 60 years, I can tell you your music is, and your whole ambiance, your presence serves to encourage all of us to keep struggling for freedom, justice, and equality. So thank you for all of what you have done and what you continue to do.
Well, thank you, Dr. Chavis. Yeah. You know, we're all in this together, and that's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, we're just very proud to be a part of the movement. And like you said, we have been a part of the movement for a long time, and we still have strength enough to keep it going.
Absolutely.
And so there's a new, and we joke about this. We don't want to call it an album, right? It's a project.
It's a project.
Tell us about the new music.
Well, we're very excited about it. You know, we got together with a young man by the name of Nick Mendoza, who is the producer of our project, and we were talking about a direction in which to go, and Billy and I just felt so strongly about that. We felt that something needed to be said about what was happening in our country today, and that we wanted to speak out and encourage, especially our young people who are showing such concern about the direction that we're going in. And it seemed like we had a strong connection there. And
we also knew that Leonard and McCartney had written this civil rights tune, Blackbird, and we knew that how powerful it was at such a time like this, that when the country was so divided, we decided that, hey, we need to be able to make a statement of a civil rights movement. Great. And that's what we did with Blackbird, because it talks about civil rights. It talks about our Black men leaving home and not coming back to the nest. That's what that whole song is about. And many mothers have cried, and fathers, over their children leaving home and not being able to come back home because of police violence or whatever, gun violence.
Wow. And I understand too, the project, its songs, images, and videos are tributes to every person who ever dared to fight hatred for the as you say, quote unquote, the birds lost, and those of us who are still fighting peacefully in the nest of life, is one quote I read from you guys. Tell us more about that. Miss Marilyn and Billy, there's an inspiration there, as you mentioned already. I was going to ask you about that inspiration from McCartney and Lennon. Even the artwork, in some forms, is a throwback to the Beatles.
Well, you know, taking for instance, "Ticket to Ride," which is one of the songs that is quite popular. It's gotten a lot of response. It's in the top of the R&B chart, the new charts. Again, we're learning how to refer to
all these charts, iTunes charts, Apple charts, you know. But Blackbird, I mean, "Ticket to Ride" is basically reminds us of Rosa Parks.
Yes.
And how she refused to give up her seat, you know, and without her going through that, what she had to go through and going to prison and everything, with her husband there waiting for her to go through all of this stuff. She had a ticket to ride, but she didn't care. That day she was going to ride that bus, and she provided a way for all of us to be able to ride the bus when we want to, sit where we want to. So God bless Rosa Parks.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just going to say that she had a ticket to ride that bus, but she also had a NAACP membership card. She was a secretary of the NAACP in Montgomery, Alabama. And I think I'm so glad, Billy and Marilyn, you reminded us that our history is important. You know, a lot of times we try to reinvent the wheel, but the wheel is already there. And the Rosa Parks, the Martin Luther King Jr., Medgar Evers, Fannie Lou Hamer. I just go down the list of heroes and sheroes that made a way for us today in 2021. And I'm so encouraged, Billy and Marilyn, by the young generation, the Black Lives Matter. These young brothers and sisters are outcrying in a peaceful way for freedom, justice, and equality. And music, you know, culture, art forms, it's always inextricably linked to the aspirations of a people. And certainly, we're going to have our convention in June. I want to make sure that we play that song or have something about Blackbirds. I want all the Black press to hear your music and affirm its relevance in 2021.
And we want to say congratulations on the 194th anniversary of the Black Press of America coming up in June. And that's so exciting. You all have accomplished so much. And we just applaud you all and say you're doing a wonderful job. And we're all working on this together.
Well, one of the things too about that is that, you know, with the Black Press, we get a chance to hear it from our point of view. You know, a lot of times, what goes out into the media is from different points of view. So when it comes to the Black Press, we know that it's to our benefit.
Well, we certainly thank you guys for that. You got a lot of fans even now writing in. Wow, Kel Love says, "Wow, Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. looking good." Celeste Hart is thanking you for your wonderful, for your soothing songs. And she says, "You both look wonderful."
Well, isn't that sweet? Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So all the encouragement is so exciting.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about Rosa Parks. Dr. Chavis, I think Billy Davis said something that is overlooked and probably always overlooked. He said Rosa Parks was on that bus, her husband was at home waiting. Black women take the lead in a lot of things.
That's right.
And most great things they've taken the lead. But we never hear that side of the story, right? With Rosa Parks' husband. We don't hear about that. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. And tell us too, I say that as more of a commentary to anything, but tell us about you guys. You guys have been together since the beginning of time.
Well, you said it right. You said it right.
Well, we are celebrating our 52nd anniversary, our wedding anniversary this year, and we've been working together and loving being together, and we just feel so blessed.
And so you, like you said, and that's the point. You not only do you work together, but you are together. That in Hollywood, especially in the industry, especially, that's really difficult to accomplish.
Yes, a lot of people they always ask us that question, especially with the pandemic and everything going on. They want, well, how do you guys, a lot of people can't stay together. Well, our relationship has been together since the beginning for 50 years. We together all day, every day. So it was easy for us.
And Stacy,
Yeah.
we understand that you and your wife, Shanae,
That's right.
contracted COVID back in March of 2020. And Billy and I had a similar situation. We were working in Florida and all of our jobs disappeared like everybody else's did. And we came back to LA and we were home within 2 weeks. We found out that we were dealing with the virus ourselves.
Wow.
So
wow.
you had to stay home for 2 weeks and not go anywhere.
Yourself,
And we got through it, and we thank God for that. And we thank God that you all got through it. And
yes.
Well, we certainly appreciate that. It was a struggle, but I'm sure you guys have a great support system. We have a great support system. The NNPA, the Black Press was great with us, a great support system. But let's talk about you guys some more. Don't talk about me.
okay.
Gail Williams says, "Wow, Marilyn's speaking voice sounds so musical." Our executive administrator, Claudette Perry, says, "So happy you are back on the musical scene, a very admired couple, an example for us all." And you really are. Lynn Schindel, love you guys. Lynn says, "I interviewed Jimmy Webb several years ago, and he spoke of you with the greatest respect." How about that?
Well, Jimmy was very important in launching our careers with the Fifth Dimension and up and away.
Well, we paid Jimmy to say that.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But we often, and I talked about this before you guys came on air. We kind of talked a little backstage about this. I know you hear it a lot about your signature song. You don't have to be a star. And I remember seeing you guys perform that song, way back when, right? And it seemed like, you guys wrote it for each other more than anybody else. Tell us about what was behind that song.
Well, one of the things, Stacey, we wish we had written that song. But it was written by a couple of guys out of Detroit,
Dean and
Glover.
Yes.
And our producer at the time, Don Davis, brought it to us, and he thought, well, we think that this song would really be good, and we really enjoy it. We like the title that "You Don't Have to Be a Star to Be in My Show." Made such good sense because everybody's looking for something special, or they want to be this and that, But we just everyday people, like Sly and the Family Stone say. We everyday people, so you just be yourself. You can be in our show.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, such a memorable song. I was telling you guys too, just for some reason, even before we had you guys booked for this show, it's been on my mind. So much going on in this world. You guys talked about it. Dr. Chavis talked about it. And I think even now that could be an anthem for today with so much going on. But you also have a book. Could you tell us a little bit about your book?
Well, we wrote a book a number of years ago. People were asking us how we managed to work together and live together and stay together and keep a marriage going. We called it Up and Away, how we found love, faith, and lasting marriage in the entertainment business.
Wow.
That's great. That's great.
And so we wrote it a few years ago. We told people about how marriage, takes a lot of work, and you have to really care about each other and support one another. And we like to share in the book that the conflicts that we ran into and how you get through them. So that, you don't hear about, well, honey, you having problems, of just forget him and move on to something else. We said, no.
It's not an agreement. It's not an agreement. It's a covenant.
Yes.
So we believe in that.
So is that one of the so-called secrets, especially secrets to a successful marriage, especially in the entertainment industry, like you said, making this covenant and sticking to that covenant?
Well, that is a part of the secret, but another part of the secret is we became friends right at the beginning of our relationship, and right at the beginning of the group with the Fifth Dimension. And we've been friends. We were friends for 4 years, and we've been best friends for the other 50.
And you know the old saying that a family that prays together stays together.
Exactly right.
And Billy and I definitely pray together every day.
Every morning.
Our faith is very important to us, and we feel like our faith has certainly helped us through those tough times.
And let me ask you this: with that said, and all these years together, do you find other couples or either now or in the past has other couples in the music industry or in the Hollywood industry, have they come to you guys for any type of advice or counseling?
We've done some counseling.
Yes, we have, and but we don't find too many couples in the industry. But couples outside of the industry, we do some marriage counseling and stuff like that when we're asked. But it's just very seldom you'll find couples in the industry that really stays together. You know, it's a tough industry.
Yeah. So back to Blackbird, the most important thing it is. Look, I'm not in it, but we all watch and see, and that's why it's such a marvel to see, you guys, and you smile, you look at each other like you did, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I learned that from Black women. Black women say it's all how the man looks at her. So Billy, you keep on looking at Marilyn that way for another 50 years.
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, I cannot help myself.
He talks a lot of good stuff.
It sounds like he's got all the right answers, though.
He does. But we're really excited about our project, and we feel like we want this to be a movement.
Yeah.
And we feel that the young people have to be encouraged because this is on their hearts, and we love that they're coming together, and it's crossing all the areas of our young people, the whites and Latinos.
Couples in the industry that really stays together. It's a tough industry.
Yeah. So back to Blackbird, the most important thing it is. Look, I'm not in it, but we all watch and see, and that's why it's such a marvel to see, you guys, and you smile, you look at each other like you did, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I learned that from Black women. Black women say it's all how the man looks at her. So Billy, you keep on looking at Marilyn that way for another 50 years.
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, I cannot help myself.
He talks a lot of good stuff.
It sounds like he's got all the right answers, though.
He does. But we're really excited about our project, and we feel like we want this to be a movement.
Yeah.
And we feel that the young people have to be encouraged because this is on their hearts, and we love that they're coming together, and it's crossing it's crossing all the areas of our young people, the whites and Latinos and Asians, and all of us are getting together and saying we have to stand together as a nation and understand each other, respect each other's backgrounds, respect each other's stories, and that's the only way our country can really make it go.
Yeah.
And not only that, you'll probably be seeing a lot about Kathy Allen, who's the head of Kathy Allen Worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy Worldwide, who owns EE1 record company, which is distributed by BMG. And this is a young lady who has a heart of gold, and she's just poured her heart totally into this project for what it's saying and the statement that it's making.
And she's shown such dedication and commitment to our project, and we thank her. We thank her for all of the energy that's going into Blackbird, because it's there's so much to be said and so much to be done, and we got to reach a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are so proud to start it here with the Black Press of America and the National Newspaper Publicists Association. Dr. Chavis, I know that, again, you talked about how, you're a huge part of the civil rights movement. You talked about how Billy Davis and Marilyn McCoo was a big part of that. Tell us about, Dr. Chavis, the importance of the sound of the civil rights movement, and maybe you can have that discussion with Billy and Marilyn.
Well, thank you very much. And I want to say that Marilyn and Billy, you personify not only, as Bobby Henry said, the bells of freedom, your resilience and your work today. The world just waits. Can't wait for to receive Blackbird. I think it's timely. I'm glad you mentioned your producers and your label, because it's so important that record companies and music executives support projects like Blackbird. And I think God has blessed you. Congratulations on your 52nd wedding anniversary, marriage anniversary, and your resilience. I think the aspirations that you represent in 2021 certainly have roots of years ago, but you give it new meaning, you give it new purpose. And I just think that across the lines of race, across the lines of socioeconomic circumstance, I think all of humanity will be able to celebrate Blackbirds. And certainly you can depend on the Black press. We're going to help promote and support you. And we'll try to do something special to salute you at our national convention on June 23rd.
Thank you, Dr. Chavis.
Thank you, Dr. Chavis.
And we want to thank you for all the wonderful work that you've been doing through all of your years to help to make the whole world a better place. And you do.
Thank you so much.
And generally, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. So generally, when we close out, I always have a closing word of encouragement, right? And I'm going to give you a heads up. My closing word of encouragement today, we're not there yet. We got a couple of minutes left, but I want you to think about this, and Nick is there with you, is a verse to "You Don't Have to Be a Star." Now, I think our audience, instead of me saying it, would love to hear you sing just that one verse for us, or more if you want. So,
oh my gosh.
So before we get there, Dr. Chavis, I'm going to give you your closing thoughts.
Well, thank you. My closing thoughts are my opening thoughts, and that is, God bless. We thank God for the creative genius of Marilyn and Billy. You represent the best, not just of African people, but you represent the best of all of humanity. And we thank God for you, for your longevity, and you're still on the front lines making a difference. I think Blackbird is going to go straight to the top of all charts, not one chart. And anything that we can do to help promote. I just want to, just as a side note, to let you know that Ebony Magazine is a member of the NNPA. They're just being relaunched. And I was looking over the 75-year history of Ebony, and guess whose pictures I saw throughout the last years of Ebony, Fifth Dimension, but your work and that's a title song. You know, you don't have to be a star. Was certainly a part of the creative genius, the bridge, the cultural bridge that helped bring us across the troubled waters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
that so
much.
much. Yeah.
And how exciting Ebony's coming back, because
Yes.
we certainly could use Ebony magazine again. That's one.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it was our lifeline.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, it's the resilience of the Black press.
That's
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
We need it. Keep, God bless you guys. Keep going, you know.
Well, absolutely. And don't forget, it's not too early to register for the National Newspaper Publicists Association's annual summer convention, which is held virtually this year, and it's free at www.virtualnnpa2021.com. That's virtualnnpa2021.com. And don't forget, every Sunday, watch the Chavis Chronicles with Dr. Ben Chavis every Sunday morning on PBS TV and PBS World. And join us tomorrow for another special edition of Let It Be Known with baseball great Darryl Strawberry and breakout Grammy entertainer Mappy. Now, we got to throw it over for our close to Billy Davis Jr. and Marilyn McCoo.
What?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. You don't have to be a star, baby, to be in my show.
That was great.
Awesome. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you to Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. Everybody stay safe and stay well. Join us tomorrow with Darryl Strawberry.